Greene County Humane Society hosted the Furry Friends 5K in a look back on the Keep Waynesburg Well plan.
Former President Trump is facing 34 potential felonies, and Disney has come under fire from Florida Governor DeSantis. All this and more right here on WCTV.
And now, your 5 o'clock news on Channel 14.
Welcome to the Newscast, live at 5. I'm Rebecca Vaughn.
And I'm Joe Venzel. On Sunday, April 2nd, the Greene County Humane Society and a group of Waynesburg University students held a special 5K event. WCTV's Tim Durkin has the story.
I'm here on a bright and sunny day in Waynesburg. And as you can see behind me, what started as a class project has blossomed into a full event where some good dogs from around campus and the surrounding area come to gather.
So this is the 5K that was put together by students here at Waynesburg University.
But it's not just any 5K.
We're hosting the Furry Friends 5K.
And furry is right. Dogs of all shapes and sizes peppered Waynesburg University's campus to participate in the student-run event, all to support the Greene County Humane Society.
And it is an amazing event.
There were some incredible dogs in attendance. Duke,
got it. All right, let's get this one. Come on.
Barely containing his excitement.
That's ready position. Can you tell? Oh, great catch, Duke. Sit.
And rewarded for his efforts. Others were very friendly. And some were
Camera shy.
just a little shy. Once the event actually started, no dog was too shy to run. Participants did laps around the university and surrounding area, only stopping for a quick drink. After the run, attendees could pay for a chance to win one of many gift bags, but more importantly,
All proceeds are going to go to the Humane Society to buy supplies for their shelter.
an impactful fundraiser for the community.
You're supporting the only animal shelter in Greene County, and we rely solely on donations.
There may only be one humane society in Greene County, but there are countless numbers of forever homes for our furry friends.
Thank you everyone for coming out.
For WCTV, I'm Tim Durkin.
Rest and relaxation are important to keep in mind going into Easter. To get into the spirit, Waynesburg University held another Biscuit Brew event. Micah Leith reports.
It's a Waynesburg student life staple.
It's relaxing.
Patty Rohana, a local small business owner, has been coming to Biscuit Brew for 18 years.
Pat Brister, of course, wanted to do ceramics at my shop, but she's way too busy. So she said, get something going with the kids. And that was 18 years ago.
It's a chance for students to try something new.
It helps just keep me creative outside of writing.
Students aren't the only ones to benefit.
It's good little fundraiser for my shop.
It also gives Rohana a chance to show new art.
In order for me to sell them, my students want me to see, they want to see it finished. You know, they can't look at it and imagine how to paint it. So I like to get a finished piece done. And trees are so popular.
Plus, it can be a creative challenge for students.
Obviously it's challenging sometimes, like this thing. I don't know. I was going for Waynesburg colors, but it's just like, so I'm adding some green to it.
What's more, it's not too early to think about Christmas.
And I thought, well, I'll get started. That way I'll know how many to pour for Christmas.
For WCTV, I'm Michael Leith.
Local fish fries are a staple of the spring season, and Greene County has a lot to offer. WCTV's Darian Allensworth visited one and has the story.
Conversation, laughter, and the frying of fish. All things you could hear at St. Anne's Roman Catholic Church on Fridays since Lent started. Fish Fry Fridays has not only been an opportunity for just members of the community to come together, but has also allowed charitable organizations like the Knights of Columbus to make a difference. The Knights of Columbus have been in Waynesburg for
20 plus years. The Knights of Columbus, and we started Fish Fries back, I think, the second year we reformed here, and we've been doing the first one we just did one, we made like $300 and we said, wow. And now we do quite well.
Well, the Knights of Columbus is a charitable organization, and we raise probably about $6,000-7,000 net profit on this. We'll put it in our treasury. We'll give it to people that are needy, pro-life organizations. So it brings everybody together, all the Knights of Columbus during Lent, and it promotes camaraderie.
This fishy tradition is something the older generation enjoys now, and hopefully will be something the next generation will enjoy in the future. St. Anne's not only has great food, but also a great place to see old friends and family. For WCTV, I'm Darian Allensworth.
With talks of ending the COVID emergency order, it seems that the era of the pandemic is coming to a close. WCTV's own Tyler Zeman takes a look at how Waynesburg University handled the crisis.
COVID-19 had an immense impact on many colleges and universities. It forced many of them to even shut down, and some students couldn't even be in the classroom for up to a year. However, there is an outlier, and it's thanks to one plan that kept Waynesburg University up and running.
The Keep Waynesburg Well plan
was the idea created to bring back students after the quick end to the previous semester.
It started on Tuesday, to where everything was shutting down, from March Madness to the NFL to the MLB, and after that, 2 days later, my mom and her boyfriend were coming up and moving me out.
So how did Waynesburg come up with a plan for the unexpected?
There's two answers to that. One is that we did have a plan. We have a very robust security operations and crisis management plan that covers a lot of areas. What we didn't have was a specific plan, like any other school, to respond to a biological pandemic like COVID-19.
Somehow, the university made it work, and made it work well.
Many of these institutions looked to Waynesburg to see how we did it, how we did things. Waynesburg really never shut down. Even though students left housing and left the classrooms for the rest of that semester, we did a much better job of managing the crisis for 20, 21, 22, and even into 23 than many other schools.
Making the Keep Waynesburg Well plan for Tanda one for the history books.
Will go down as one of the prouder moments in Waynesburg's 170-some-year history.
For WCTV, I'm Tyler Zeman.
That's all for local and campus news. When we come back, we'll have news from around the nation.
This is producer Caleb Yager, and you are watching The Buzz.
Welcome back to the Newscast, live at 5. Just hours after former President Trump's historic arraignment in New York Tuesday, he gave a defiant speech at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. It was full of grievances and false claims. He railed against charges and cast himself as a victim for political persecution. Trump was mostly silent when he was actually in court. He didn't say much aside from not guilty when he entered his plea. Trump is facing 34 felony accounts of falsifying business records. Prosecutors say that he orchestrated a hush money scheme to cover up alleged affairs with an adult film actress and a Playboy model. CNN's Paula Reed reports.
According to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, former President Donald Trump was at the center of an alleged catch-and-kill scheme to suppress negative stories about him in order to influence the 2016 presidential election and to benefit his electoral prospects. Trump appeared in a New York courtroom on Tuesday and pleaded not guilty to 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. Speaking at Mar-a-Lago Tuesday night, he lashed out at the district attorney, the judge in the case, and the indictment itself.
And I never thought anything like this could happen in America. Never thought it could happen. The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it.
According to Manhattan prosecutors, the alleged scheme involved Trump, his former personal attorney Michael Cohen, and the then head of American Media Incorporated, David Pecker. During an August 2015 meeting at Trump Tower, Pecker said he would act as the eyes and ears of the campaign by alerting Cohen to negative stories about Trump, according to court documents.
I found the document actually quite detailed. It is a speaking indictment, and it has quite a bit of detail about the history and laid out the facts underlying then the various counts that are listed.
Before the 2016 presidential election, payments were made to at least 3 individuals to suppress their negative stories involving Trump, including alleged affairs with adult film star Stormy Daniels and Playboy model Karen McDougal, according to court documents. Trump denies both affairs.
These are felony crimes in New York State, no matter who you are.
Cohen has also pleaded guilty to federal crimes pertaining to this indictment.
I will continue to speak truth to power. I will continue to provide transparency to the American people. It's amazing how, once again, Donald is trying to shift all of the blame, which he's so good at. It's always somebody else's fault.
Trump's lawyers vowing to fight the charges.
A motion to dismiss is coming on several grounds. Prosecutorial misconduct, selective prosecution, for sure will be 2 of them. Legal insufficiency is another one.
Trump's Tuesday speech included attacks on the judge in the case and the judge's family. That just hours after the judge had warned Trump to stop making inflammatory public comments regarding the case.
A train hauling cases of beer derailed in western Montana. This is just one of many derailments that have been happening nationwide. This happened near Quinn's Hot Springs on Sunday morning. Some people in a rowboat got close to the debris and found an intact bottle of beer. About 25 cars derailed. It clearly made a mess, but authorities said no one got hurt, and there is no danger to the public. The cause of the incident is under investigation.
The results are in for what might be the most consequential election of the year. A judge's victory in Wisconsin means liberals will control the state Supreme Court when it considers Wisconsin abortion a ban. Meanwhile, Brandon Johnson is set to become Chicago's mayor after a race that focused on policing. The elections are speaking to the national issues of abortion and policing. In Wisconsin, liberals are taking control of the state Supreme Court after the victory of Justice-elect Janet Protaskowitz. Her win over conservative Daniel Kelly, a former state Supreme Court justice, is one of the most consequential election outcomes of the year. That's because the Wisconsin Supreme Court is poised to hear challenges to the state's 1849 abortion ban. Meanwhile, in Chicago, Cook County Commissioner Brandon Johnson is set to become the city's next mayor. He's pledging to keep funding the Chicago police, despite his non-binding resolution in 2020 to defund the department. Incumbent Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot didn't secure enough support in the first round of voting to be a candidate in the runoff.
2 semi-trucks collided on a highway in northern Florida Wednesday, leaving behind a starchy mess. This was the scene on the northbound lanes of Interstate 95 near State Route 206 in St. Johns County Wednesday afternoon. According to the Florida Highway Patrol, 2 semi-trucks collided, which caused one to flip and spill its load of hundreds of pounds of potatoes. Officials say the other semi-truck jackknifed and 2 other vehicles struck the guardrail as they tried to avoid the crash scene. No one had to be taken to the hospital, but one person did complain of knee pain. The northbound lanes of Interstate 95 were closed following the crash. It has since reopened.
Oof. Former University of Alabama basketball player Darius Miles has pled not guilty to capital murder in connection to a fatal shooting. 23-year-old Jamia Jonay Harris was killed in the shooting, which occurred near the university campus in January. Miles is accused of aiding and abetting Michael Lynn Davis, who authorities said fired the shot and killed Harris. The 21-year-old Miles is being held without bond.
The Biden administration wants to tighten pollution control on coal-fired power plants. The Environmental Protection Agency is proposing a new rule that would slash mercury and other pollution from the plants by up to 70%. It would also require them to monitor emissions in real time and supply that data to the EPA. In February, the EPA finalized a decision to temporarily reestablish Obama-era pollution rules. The Trump administration had weakened them. The newly proposed regulation would be the strongest update to mercury restrictions since 2012. The EPA estimates it would result in up to $3 billion in public health benefits over 10 years.
That's all for national news. When we come back, it'll be Michael Leith for business and entertainment news. But first, we have Kaylin Elliott outside with a brief look at the weather.
Good evening, Waynesburg. I'm Kaylin Elliott, and today I'm outside enjoying the beautiful spring weather upon us. Stay tuned to find out what Easter Sunday will look like.
Welcome back. I'm Michael Leith, and this is your business and entertainment update. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is continuing his feud with Disney. Disney CEO Bob Iger slammed Governor DeSantis Monday as anti-business during the entertainment company's annual shareholders meeting. CNN's Randy Kay has the story.
Now there's a new sheriff in town. We've taken away their self-governing status. There's a lot of little back and forth going on now with the state taking control, but rest assured, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis talking about signing a bill last month to give himself new power over Disney in what amounted to a state takeover of the special taxing district. For decades, that district has provided the entertainment giant control of its theme parks and the land around them. But Disney had something else in mind.
I cannot tell you the level of my disappointment in Disney.
Disappointed because DeSantis appointed board members, political allies who were brought in to oversee the new district, now seeing their power greatly diminished. Turns out Disney quietly cut a deal with the outgoing board just days before the state's so-called hostile takeover.
This development agreement essentially strips the government of the government powers and give those powers to Disney.
On February 8th, as the Florida legislature met in a special session, Disney and the previous board hammered out a series of agreements to transfer nearly all of the district's powers to Disney for the next 30 years. In fact, the board can't take action in some cases without first getting approval from the company.
It was done to prevent us from doing our job. And that is offensive to me.
The terms spelled out in one agreement signed by the outgoing board restricts the new board from using Disney's fanciful characters until 21 years after the death of the last survivor of the descendants of King Charles III, King of England.
This essentially makes Disney the government.
I cannot imagine Orange County, Osceola County, the city of Orlando, or any other Central Florida government allowing or agreeing to allow any private developer or property owner to have this sort of control over a government and the officials that run it.
Our attempts to reach any of the board members, new and old, were unsuccessful. Governor DeSantis' office did send us a statement saying the governor is aware of Disney's last-ditch efforts. And in this letter DeSantis' office sent us today, the governor is requesting the state's inspector general launch a criminal and civil investigation into actions taken by the outgoing board. These collusive and self-dealing arrangements aim to nullify the recently passed legislation, the letter says, adding the deal appears to suffer from serious legal infirmities, including, among other things, inadequate notice. Despite that, Disney is standing firm, telling CNN all agreements signed between Disney and the district were appropriate, and were discussed and approved in open, noticed public forums in compliance with Florida's Government in the Sunshine Law. In fact, the notes from that February 8th meeting include the notice of meeting that was published in the Orlando Sentinel newspaper on January 27th, alerting readers that a final public forum on the issue was scheduled for February 8th. Also included in the meeting notes, receipts for advertising the public forum. Randy Kay, CNN, Orlando.
The Internal Revenue Service extended the tax filing deadlines to Americans affected by storms and tornadoes that hit several states last week. The regular tax filing deadline for most Americans this year is April 18th, but storm victims in parts of Mississippi and Arkansas will now have until July 31st to file individual and business tax returns. Residents and businesses in parts of California, Alabama, and Georgia will have until October 16th to file their taxes. The IRS is expecting as many as 168 million individual tax returns this year. Today in the Showbiz Spotlight, everyone's favorite web slinger and a celebrity cannabis farmer. Here's David Daniel with a Hollywood Minute.
Miles, being Spider-Man is a sacrifice. You have a choice between saving one person and saving every world. Send me home. I can't do that.
I can do both! Spider-Man, always!
Not always.
What about Uncle Ben?
If not for Uncle Ben, most of us wouldn't be here.
Can't stop me now!
Here's the latest look at Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. The follow-up to the Oscar-winning Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse swings in the theaters June 2nd.
7 years ago, I had a dream. I had all this land and thought, why not grow cannabis?
Jim Belushi has gone from Chicago actor to Oregon pot farmer in the reality series Growing Belushi. The first 2 seasons brought both lows and highs, so to speak, but nothing to prepare him or viewers for season 3.
The first episode is harrowing. My barn burned down last year with $500,000 worth of cannabis, a $400,000 barn. And I think it's organized crime that did it because the black market in Oregon and Northern California is notorious for intimidation.
Season 3 of Growing Belushi debuts today on Discovery Plus. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Actor Jeremy Renner says he felt so close to dying after his snowplow accident earlier this year, he wrote some last words to his family. A clip of him saying that can be seen in a teaser video for his interview with Diane Sawyer. 52-year-old Renner has spent the past 3 months recovering from a collapsed lung, 8 broken ribs, and a pierced liver. He sustained those injuries while trying to save his nephew from being hit by a snowcat that Renner was operating near his Nevada home. The Hawkeye star has been busy promoting some of his upcoming projects. That's all for your business and entertainment update. Up next is Ethan Spazarski with all the latest in Waynesburg sports.
Have you ever been to the Everly Library? If not, you should, because it's great. They have books of all different genres: history, biography, fiction. Try The Evolution of Life, Life of Pi, or Jurassic Park. So what if books aren't your thing? Try movies like Frozen, or TV shows like Lost. Books and DVDs aren't the only thing though. Take a trip to the second floor. Welcome to the Writing Center. These tutors will tell you everything you need to know about writing a paper, and they'll help revise your essays. Now let's head back down. Behold, the Knox Learning Center. Need to print something out 5 minutes before your next class because you procrastinated? No problem. You can also print off pictures of dogs. Because, well, you can. So grab your homework, laptop, and textbook, and study diligently. Bring your lunch too. Actually, you can't. That's illegal. Now you know the Everly Library. Stop by anytime. Seriously, it's open all week.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Sports Report. I'm Ethan Spazarski. The baseball team traveled to Franciscan on Sunday for a doubleheader, winning Game 1 5-2 and then Game 2 16-4 in 7 innings. Sophomore shortstop Alec Engelmore had 5 hits and 4 RBIs. Junior left-hander Lane Hours had 4 hits and 3 RBIs. Dalton Lucy pitched out 1 out away from a full game in Game 1. He did give up 10 hits, but only 2 runs and 6 strikeouts. Bryce Badillion pitched all 7 innings in the second game. He allowed 8 hits on 4 runs. That was not the story for their next series, losing both games in their doubleheader to Geneva. The first game they lost 8-7, however losing the second game 15-0. The team gets back onto the field on Saturday when they go to West Virginia to take on the Bethany Bison in a doubleheader. The first pitch for Game 1 will be at 1 o'clock, and the second game will follow shortly after. In National Baseball news, a pitch clock has been added to speed up the pitching of games. Keegan Robbie reports.
Major League Baseball is implementing a few new rules this year, one of those being the pitch clock. That means pitchers have less time to recover from each throw, as well as more contact from the batters. The new rule was announced on September 8th, 2022, and put into play this year. This rule gives pitchers 15 seconds between pitches when there are no runners on base and 20 seconds when there is at least one runner on base.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird transition, mostly because as a pitcher, you always were kind of in control of how the game was going. You know, if you needed a minute to step off, or if you wanted to mess with the batter's timing and go quick or go slow, or, you know, it's a long inning and you take an extra walk around, or, you know, grab the rosin bag, something like that. Just kind of not having the ability to do that on your time. You know, everything's a lot more scripted, where it's like between pitches, you're going to get 15 seconds no matter what. So you don't really have time to do much of anything.
There are 2 places behind home plate where the pitcher can see the pitch clock, as well as a timer in the outfield for the batter to see.
I've been in professional baseball this is my 28th year now. And when I first started in the early 90s, mid 90s, the game organically took 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours and 40 minutes. You know, I was an umpire starting out. And so, you know, I don't remember too many games that were over 3 hours. You know, under sub 3 hour games were pretty regular. But as things moved along and we got into the mid to late, you know, 2000s to 2010, and certainly the last 10 years, the game just now organically went the opposite direction.
For WCTV, I'm Keegan Robbie.
The team defeated Franciscan on the road in their doubleheader, winning Game 1 22-5 and Game 2 4-0. 5 of the runs came off the bat of senior Reagan Benschoter, and freshman Jasmine Damaski had 4 in the first game as well. These women, along with Grace Higgins, all had a home run in this game. While the score doesn't seem to be as explosive as the team remained, it did remain dominant as the duo of Stemple and Wilson continued to show as they held Franciscan to just 11 hits and 5 runs in 2 games. Stemple also struck out 10 batters in the game in Game 1. The Yellow Jackets come back home for their next game against PAC and school rival Washington and Jefferson. The first game starts at 1 p.m. and the second is supposed to start at 3. The men's tennis team lost today 7-2 as it puts them and remains them winless with an 0-6 record. Their match is set up for today against Washington and Jefferson. Men's golf participated in a 4-team match, as Bethany, where they would place third of all 4 teams. And women's lacrosse had a game on Wednesday, however, they did fall to the St. Vincent Bearcats 23-5. Tora and Michael John would lead the way with 2 goals, along with Samantha Ernest. Eva Sullivan would have the last goal as well. That makes the team 2-7 on the year and with an 0-3 conference record. The women's team will be back on the field on Tuesday on the road as they travel to Grove City. The time is set for 4:30. And finally, the football schedule has been released for the 2023-24 season. The Yellow Jackets will kick off the season with the home game against Allegheny. The team has 5 home games and 5 away games as they conclude their season on the road against Washington and Jefferson. That's going to do it for me, Ethan Spazarski. After the break, I'll send you over to Kaylin Elliott for next week's weather.
You're watching WCTV, where we aim to bring you the best local coverage of what you care about most. Everything from local businesses to hometown sports and the latest weather. We're keeping up to date with what you need to know about issues that affect our campus and our community. We're telling the stories that matter, celebrating our past, our future, and our potential. So tune in for all the latest buzz right here on WCTV Channel 14, Waynesburg.
Good evening. I'm Kaylin Elliott here with your weather report. Yesterday's weather made me envision myself on the beach. Unfortunately, by Easter Sunday, we are going to see the temperature dip a little this weekend. With a high of 60 degrees and a low of 35 today, we are already starting to turn away from the summer weather tease we saw yesterday. The 60s from today will stay consistent throughout the Holy Week as we will enter the weekend with temperatures on Good Friday and Saturday in the high 50s with partly cloudy skies and low chances of rain. Easter Sunday will bring clear skies and sun with a high of 65 degrees and a low of 38. Bringing us to Monday, we will start to see those temperatures climb up again with a high of 68 degrees and a low at 44. Tuesday will mirror Monday's weather with a high of 71, accompanied by partly cloudy skies. Finally, on Wednesday, we will start to see those temperatures rise again with a high of 73 degrees and a low of 44 degrees. With low chances of April showers this week, get outside this week and smell the flowers.
Well, thank you, Kaylin. That's all we're going to have for our 5 o'clock newscast. You can catch us every Thursday live at 5 for Kaylin Elliott, Ethan Spazarski, Michael Leith, Rebecca Vaughn, and myself, Joe Venzel, wishing all of you a very happy Easter.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.